In this video, we'll be taking a look at one NFL game happening on December 11th, 2025, and providing you with a free team pick and total pick for this game. So 2 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on this one NFL game after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Atlanta Falcons versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Atlanta once looked like it might steer the National Football Conference south, but that shine has worn off fast. The Falcons keep stumbling at the exact moment when strong teams usually tighten things up, and the whole outfit feels like it is drifting through the late stretch of the calendar. Raheem Morris is trying to steady the room, but the roster does not seem to respond much, and you can feel that disconnect in the way they play. Over the past 8 weeks, their only bright spot came in a win over the Saints, a club wrestling with many of the same problems. Even then, they were pushed around in simple ways, like losing the first down count 21-13. Kirk Cousins added to the gloom in Week 14 with a rough outing, completing 15 of 30 throws for 162 yards and 2 picks. Then the defense broke down again, giving up 31 points in the second half to Seattle, which is the sort of collapse that keeps a coaching staff awake at 2 in the morning. It is hard for anyone to trust where Atlanta is heading right now. Sure, the team across from them is not exactly thriving, but that only takes you so far. Tampa had its own spectacular meltdown in Week 14, wiping out survivor pools and teaser legs everywhere. Bettors saw what looked like a free square, only to watch the Saints stroll into Florida and put up 17 points for the win. Baker Mayfield, who has bounced between sharp and shaky this season, leaned heavily toward the latter, going 14 of 30 for 122 yards and a single score with a pick. The offense that once felt lively has become a quieter, thinner version of itself, and injuries have shaped much of that slide. A unit that used to spark conversations about explosiveness now sits 22nd in total expected points added, which feels like a drop no one saw coming a few weeks back. The defense has held up longer, landing at 14th in total expected points added, but even that group has had its moments where the wheels start to wobble. The small bright side for Tampa is that the roster is finally inching toward health again. Tristan Wirfs, their best protector up front, missed last Sunday but appears close to returning for Thursday night. Mike Evans has stacked 4 straight practices and looks ready to jump back in after 7 weeks out, which should feel like someone flipped the lights back on, and the Bucs badly need those lights. With the National Football Conference South still up for grabs, they cannot afford another misstep in a game that has felt circled on the calendar for days. Atlanta walks into this with 7 losses in its last 8 tries, and the defensive issues keep stacking up. They have allowed 27 or more points in 4 of their last 5, and the rhythm on offense is inconsistent at best. Cousins has struggled so often that each game feels like he is trying to cling to the starting role a little longer. Meanwhile, Tampa has dropped 4 of its last 5, including a rough home loss to the Saints that had fans mumbling on their way to the parking lot. Favorites are supposed to protect home turf, and the Bucs have lost 2 of their last 3 in that spot, which creates its own tension. Still, they remain the better team on paper, still have reason to play with urgency, and still know that a loss here would launch a week's worth of uncomfortable questions for people in important chairs. It is that kind of moment where a club either folds or finds its footing. Now, the sense around this matchup feels like a turning point. Tampa has a chance to steady itself, and the Falcons look like they are grappling with motivation on a short week while heading out on the road, which is not a friendly combination. If they were still scrapping for something meaningful, maybe this plays differently, but the air around that locker room feels heavy, and you can see how fast a team in that spot checks out. As our first pick for this matchup, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Atlanta's ground attack has been the one part of the operation that still feels dependable, rolling to 123.6 yards a game. Bijan Robinson drives that engine with 1,081 yards and 5 touchdowns, and every so often he'll slip through a crease that looks too small for a human being, which is probably why the coaching staff keeps leaning on him when everything else goes sideways. Defensively, Atlanta allows 24.1 points and 322.5 yards per outing, a line that looks fine until you watch how quickly things unravel when they cannot control the tempo. Tampa's run game, while a bit less explosive on the stat sheet, still puts up 115.2 yards per week and stays functional enough to keep defenses honest. Rachaad White leads the charge with 474 yards and 4 touchdowns, quietly grinding through contact in a way that sometimes gets lost in the bigger conversations around this team. Let me shift gears for a moment. Atlanta's last game, a 37-9 loss to Seattle on December 7th, looked like a spiral that gained speed. Cousins threw 2 interceptions, the defense kept giving up chunk plays, and even special teams caught some of the blame. They allowed 24.1 points per game, 20 in the league, and they have had trouble stopping the run, giving up 131 yards per contest. Tampa's most recent showing, a 24-20 loss to New Orleans on December 7th, was not pretty either, but they still average 23 points per game and at least offer a balanced approach. The defense, which sits 27th against the pass, gives up 25 points a game, so it is not exactly a steel door right now. Thursday feels like a moment when the Bucs could climb back toward the version of themselves they showed early in the year. The offense has sputtered, but that usually swings back at some point, especially against a defense sliding like Atlanta's. Since Week 8, the Falcons have allowed 28 points per game, and 4 of those 7 opponents reach 30 or more. If Evans suits up, the Bucs get a major spark. If he does not, they still face a run defense stuck near the bottom, giving up 4.5 yards per carry. Bucky Irving has flashed since returning, even if he has not delivered the big highlight yet. And this feels like a setup where he could change that. Baker is also coming off a 4.4 yards per play outing, which usually lights a fire under competitive quarterbacks. On the flip side, Atlanta's defense keeps losing its bearings, but the offense still shows the occasional glimmer. Cousins had one of his worst days as a pro in Week 14, but he now faces a pass defense sitting 20th in defensive expected points added, which should tempt him. And this matchup has not always gone Tampa's way, either. Back in Week 1, Atlanta moved the ball for 358 yards and 23 first downs against the Bucs, a game the Falcons probably should have taken. All of that creates a picture where both offenses are overdue for something more lively. It is a short week, bodies are banged up, and sometimes that produces messy, high-scoring nights where defenses struggle to catch their breath. This one has that feel. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.